Oh, hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Let me just turn this music down a little. Okay, welcome to episode two of Lunch Date with Cazzy. I'm going to leave my glasses on for a moment, even though I don't need them, but I need them for reading. So it's Lunch Date with Cazzy. So welcome to my new series. This is a series, this is episode 2. And I don't know if you watched last week's episode, but we had a great episode with Freddie and Waka, all the way from the UK. He was telling us all a little bit about his amazing life and everything that he has done. So what I want to do today, so this is a quick hour, and trust me, we have a lot to get through, so the hour will go very, very quickly. First thing I'd like to do is to thank my sponsors. So to the amazing Wear White and everyone at the Wear White team, thank you for your sponsorship. Guys, I've got some information about Wear White on the bottom of your screens. As you can see, the tickets are $45, available at vipsocio.com, or you can scan the QR code once I put all the details on the screen. So Wear White is one of the big events for Atlanta Carnival. Atlanta Carnival is coming up at the end of May. It's the last Saturday in May. It's going to be an amazing carnival because it's one carnival this year. We are not going to have 2, we are not going to have 3, it's going to be one carnival. And the highlight of, one of the highlights of the carnival season is Wear White, which is their 24th annual Wear White, which is on Sunday, May 26th for Atlanta Carnival weekend. Featuring Patrice Roberts, Michael Taja, Nadia Baston. It's called Ladies Edition, but we do have one gentleman. And he has the previous year's road march, so don't miss the show at all. Surrounding Carnival, there are many other events, but that is one of the big ones. So get your white ready for Wear White. And so we are still in February. Today is February the 13th. It's officially Valentine's Day. So see, I'm wearing my red. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow, but today is when the girls kind of get together. I am wearing my red. So it is Valentine's Day. It's also Black History Month here in the United States. There is another Black History Month in October in the UK, but here in the States it's Black History Month. So I wanted to just bring, I've got a couple of things that I want to highlight for Black history. So I'm going to bring that information to the stage. But before I do that, I'd like to introduce my guests because her and I will talk about the Black history that I have that I want to share with you guys. So I'm going to bring my guest to the stage. Her name is Dr. Sherry Dixon. Now, I know Sherry, let me tell you, Sherry is she's such a girl's girl, a great woman, a motivational speaker. She has so many titles to her, but I don't want to not do it any justice. So I'm going to get her to introduce herself, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we met and so forth. But trust me, you are going to love her just as much as I love her because she's that warm of a person. So good day, Doctor, let me correct myself. Dr. Sherry Ann Dixon. Good day. And how are you doing today?
Good day. It's a lovely day in Barbados. I'm in Barbados at the moment, and it's an absolute lovely day here.
You are so lucky to be in Barbados. Well, mind you, I'm not going to complain today because the weather here is beautiful. The sun is shining, and that's what we like. As long as the sun is shining, we're good. But it has been really cold. So Barbados, I know, is just beautiful. So what's the weather like there?
Cold in Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay. What's it
Yeah.
Like? Right, hon.
It does. It gets really cold in Atlanta. It really does. But before we introduce your phenomenal life to date, because you've got so much more that you're planning on doing, and we're going to talk about that as well. But I wanted to bring this to the stage. It might get a little smaller as we're getting smaller, but it's Black History Month here in the United States. And because you are a woman from the beauty industry, we'll talk a little bit more about that. I wanted to bring this to the stage so that we can educate everyone on Black history for, yesteryears. So this year marks the 50th anniversary of the beautiful Beverly Johnson. So Beverly Johnson, for some of you who don't know, let me just read you a little bit about and this is just a snippet. She has, a phenomenal life, of course. This is just a snippet of who she is. So Beverly Johnson helped to smash the barriers as she proved to the world that Black is beautiful, being the first Black model to grace the cover of American Vogue. So this year, 2024, marks the 50th anniversary of that historical cover back in August of 1974. Isn't that great? And you know what she says? She's actually got a one-woman show that she's doing currently in New York to bring this phenomenal historical moment, to fruition. So 50 years, and it's only 50 years ago. That's the scary part. It's like it wasn't even that long ago, 50 years. So Johnson said that she had no idea that she was the first Black model on the cover of American Vogue until international reporters brought it up during interviews. So what do you think about that, Sherry? Beverly Johnson kind of breaking down those barriers of having Black models on the cover.
Can you believe it? And as we say, 50 years ago, and you're in your 50s, right? So it's in your time frame, and she's beautiful. And as we know, these women made the covers. But when I was in the beauty industry, and I've only just learned this, there's a woman called she's doctor as well, Dr. Bethan Hardison. I want people to look that one up because she was one of the first the darker skinned woman who basically graced many a catwalk. And that was only the same sort of time, 30, 40 years ago. But, congratulations to Beverly. But, we need some more. Gosh.
Yes. And, and there's some others, that come to mind. Tyra Banks, of course, Naomi Campbell, they kind of took it. Victoria's Secret, I remember watching a documentary on Victoria's Secret. That is recent as well, when they have had Black models in lingerie, to make it look sexy. And now, I mean, we're everywhere. We're everywhere. That's kind of how we met. So we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
So the other little piece of Black history, because I did, I wanted to, bring that one in particular to the stage because I know that you're in that industry, but also another Black historian that we need to highlight is Garrett Morgan. Now, I did some research on Garrett Morgan as well. He invented the traffic lights. Now, so let me just read what I found. So on November 20th, 1923, Garrett Morgan, the 46-year-old inventor and newspaperman, invented the three-position traffic signal. So even though he wasn't the first, because back in London in 1868, they had stop and go, he got the middle, the third light, which is your amber or yellow or orange or whatever people call it. So his invention created a third position besides just the stop and go, which regulated crossing vehicles more safely than earlier signals had previously done in the past. So, kudos to him. People would never know that. They would probably just say, that didn't happen. But yes, it did happen. Garrett Morgan, the inventor of the three-position traffic light. So congratulations to him. I'm going to try doing my cheer. Tell me if you hear this. Did you hear that?
No.
So congratulations to him. All right. So Sherry Dixon. Sherry Dixon. What can I say about Sherry? So, well, let me tell you guys how Sherry and I met, first of all. So Sherry, who is the founder and director of Women on the Crossroads, that is only, I would say that is like a 10% of what she does. That's like a fraction of what this woman does. She is everywhere. She's done everything. Her bio alone was about 4 pages long, was as long as my arm. And, I was trying to pick out some of the, the most prominent things that she has done. And I really couldn't narrow it down to like 3 or 4, because you have interviewed a whole host of people. You have crossed so many different barriers. The awards, I don't know, you probably have a wall full of awards of everything that you've done. But when I met Sherry, I met her in the beauty industry. That's how I met her. And I know she's done so much more since then. And it was back in 1996, I believe, is when I first laid eyes on Sherry. And, you were the makeup artist for the official makeup artist, and also one of the ambassadors for the Miss Guyana pageant back in the day. And I remember you talking to us about skin, about health, about eating healthy, the importance of, even at that young age that we were, everybody was between 18 and 26, and you were coaching all of these ladies, even at that time, through your work. So you're always giving that love, that motivation, that pep talk, for all of us young girls. And, we went through the whole competition. You did our makeup. You told us about makeup. You're the first person that told me about the powder foundation. I didn't even know it even existed. I remember at Harvard's, I believe, this is where you told us to go. But you gave us so much wealth of information, a lot that I've, treasured and carried on. And I did go on to win the competition that year. And we remain friends. We continue to be friends. We continue to be close through all the trials and tribulations. I think you probably don't even know this, Sherry, but you coached me in many of our conversations. It was almost like a life experience coaching, conversation every time. And even when I left the UK and I moved, and you were still there helping and coaching. So thank you. I just want to say thank you for all of that. And, just wanted you to introduce yourself and let us know a little bit more about Miss Dr. Sherry Ann Dixon. Ooh. Are you still able to hear me?
I can hear you really well. Okay. And every time I think about Sherry Ann Dixon and people say, well, what about you? I'm thinking, don't don't ask me, because I can't remember. Well, if I can't remember, I don't see why anybody else should. But I'll just tell you a little bit about me. I'm into
You're currently frozen right now, Sherry. I don't know whether it's maybe a connection. If you come off the stage, let me take you off the stage and I'll put you back on again. Maybe that will help.
Okay, I
Are
don't know
you,
why it's doing that.
yeah. Is it frozen on your end or no?
Nope, it's just frozen your end. So it's
Okay,
your
okay.
end.
Oh, there you go. You're moving now. You're okay now. Okay, so there you go. So yeah, sorry. So tell us a little bit about your wonderful self.
Well, I'm into empowerment and leadership. And I say that because I did all these things when I really didn't start off into the beauty industry until I was in my 30s. I hope I'm not frozen because I hate that
No,
look
you're
that you.
not.
I was into empowerment and leadership, and of course, I have an unquenchable thirst for motivation. Um, I started off in PR, financial PR, and while I was there, I remembered somebody talking about black women and what do we think, and they didn't have enough information on what we thought. And I was like, why haven't you got it? Well, that's because our
Hmm.
parents really shopped in suit in the markets and probably
Yes.
avoided big shops. And we know that because obviously we were still immigrants in the UK, that we come from parents who had come pre-Windrush and just after Windrush. So people are saving their money. And I thought, this is wrong. We've got to stop being invisible to the marketeers. So Caroline, you're frozen, you're back now. I was there.
Uh-huh.
Asking people what did they think, what did they buy, what toothpaste did they use, sanitary towels, all the things that pertain to women. And then I obviously offered it to my employers to let them know that yes, we do drink milk and we do brush our teeth and we do go to the bank and our parents save in
Yeah.
those.
And we
So
watched television. I was
hello,
also shocked. I said we watched
hello,
TV. I was also shocked when a lot of the adverts were not geared towards black people. I'm like, do you know how many black people watch TV? Like everybody I
yeah.
know has TV in their house.
Yeah, and if we didn't have the up to date one, whatever it was, we congregated, especially when a black person comes on. So appropriate in Black History Month that we've now moved to being able to talk to each other via StreamYard. Can you imagine
Yeah.
in the 60s when I went to England, there was no such thing. We sort of like to make the TV look wonderful, we put colored film over it, like cling film,
Yeah.
cling film. So embarrassing to talk about it right now, but still, it's good memories, and it's good that we have evolved. And
Oh yeah,
so,
absolutely.
with evolution, I moved into PR, and then I decided that I wanted to go over into beauty PR because I was always, as you said, playing, messing with people's faces, trying out with my sons because I have one son who's slightly darker than the other one, so trying the different foundations on them to see how the level of acidity would change the foundation, and not
Yeah.
many did that at the time. So you remember we often saw women or people on TV looking grey. Remember Moira?
Uh-huh.
Remember,
Yeah.
can't remember the other guy, but Trevor McDonald's. These people
Hmm.
were tested on, and they looked great. And I was like, I never want us to look like that on TV. So I went
Yeah,
along.
they looked gray, and they also used all the wrong colors. They were probably white people or Caucasian people doing the makeup. So they would
Yeah,
always have like really red cheeks, and then really fun, the lips were
yeah,
just wasn't matching. Nothing was right.
nothing
Yeah, they did
matched.
have a lot
Everything
of,
was wrong. Yeah.
yeah, I
So I
remember.
decided I was going to change, and with my bold self, because I come from a background of strong women who our motto was I can and I will, long before Obama said it. We were always
Hmm.
we can and we will. Don't be telling us we can't do stuff.
Yes, because
Don't
we will
was
find
in,
a way.
yeah, don't was in our fool's dictionary. No way, not having it. So
Yeah.
I think we with that attitude, I said I've got to make a difference, and I did. I went and I learned about beauty, from the skin. How does the skin? Why do they say we've got we've got a lot of oil in our skin? Our skin is double oily, or our skin is thicker. And I had
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that I learned so that I can dispel the myths of um, of what they were saying in magazines and in on TV. And in doing that, I became one of the most sought after beauty experts in the
Yes,
United
yes.
Kingdom.
You
Yeah,
were far more than a makeup artist. It was far more than makeup. It went beyond makeup because you also
yes,
talked about, health challenges. You also talk about food. You talked about everything, water, how important drinking a lot of water
that's
was,
right.
even from a
Yeah.
young age, because a lot of people, I mean, now, of course, it's widespread, but back then water was like, oh, no one wanted to drink water. But
Who
you were
wants
like,
to
no,
drink
eight
water?
glasses a drink, 8 glasses a day at least.
Yeah, definitely. I think what I also used to talk about is because I think I found out about fibroids. So many black women,
Mm,
particularly, were suffering from fibroids, and estrogen had a lot of bad effects on our bodies and our skin.
yes,
So of course, women were coming to me for makeup, but the hairs under the chins, and and the places that we didn't really want it, that was
mm-hmm.
prevalent at that time. And so I was learning on the job, but then I went on to write about those things because I come from PR. I was
Yes,
able. I knew how to write. I knew how to do the work for the for the magazines, because they were lazy to do the research on
yes, yes.
skin.
And I
Really
remember
lazy.
I remember back in the UK, there was a big magazine. I don't, I've been out of the UK for 15 years now, so I don't know whether it's still there, but it was as big as Essence over here in the States, Pride magazine. And you
Yes.
were the editor in chief of Pride. And I remember when that
Yeah.
you became editor. I think you were either like
Beauty
a
editor.
contributor first, and then you became the editor. And I was
Yeah,
like,
I was a
wow,
beauty
this is
editor.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, beauty editor. And my first day when I started, well, I was writing for all the other magazines, The Voice, and all the other and Black Hair, and call
Mm-hmm.
it. I was doing it and enjoying it because I felt great that I was being in print, telling our people, no, you don't have to. Don't be putting no coconut oil on directly on your face. Understand your face type. Now you can put coconut oil, but don't put it on if you're particularly oily.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
things are common
Yeah.
sense, but not everybody thinks that way because we
Common
grew
sense
up
is
with
not
that.
common.
And also, we grew up with our parents rubbing up our skin with,
In
you know,
Vaseline.
so
Growing up in the Caribbean, I mean, I don't think it was as bad as Vaseline, but I do remember, not well, it was kind of twofold because we had the fruits, we had, the right raw organic fruits, and we didn't know how valuable all of that was back then. But then on the flip side, we were influenced by all this advertising on the TV that we did have that they said we didn't have. And we were able to see all these products in the States, and we would always want those because we figured that was the best
yeah.
choice without knowing that we had our organic, straight from the
Hmm.
earth, from the ground stuff right
Yeah,
there back home in
right.
the Caribbean that we
Yeah,
crave
because
now.
right now I make a mixture of organic olive oil, and I mix it with a little bit of castor oil, and also the coconut oil, and I mix them all
Mm-hmm.
together, and just a teeny weeny bit of glycerine, because glycerine actually acts as a humectant. It attracts moisture to the skin, so it
Oh,
keeps your
wow.
skin, yeah, it keeps your skin nice and soft
So you
for
do
longer.
that for your lotion? You rub that all over your skin?
Yeah, I do.
Nice,
And I
nice.
massage it in because now, as you well know, I've hit the 70-year-old mark. And so I gotta
No.
I
Who
gotta keep
said
it
that?
fresh.
We don't say that. You age backwards as you kind of move on. So let's circle back for a little bit. So apart from being a beauty expert, beautician, writer, editor in chief of a magazine, an author, all of these things that you are, you're also a motivational speaker. You
Yeah.
are a transformational coach. You
Yes.
you are very sought after, as I would say, of course, of Guyanese roots,
Yes.
British lived, and kind of worked and educated, and all the thrills, but now residing in the beautiful Barbados, the island of Barbados.
Yes.
So you've lived, in different countries. You've experienced. I know you've traveled the world. So
Yes.
with all of that said, what brought you to Barbados? Why Barbados out of all the places in the world?
Yeah. Well, the reason I chose Barbados is easier to get around. I've done Europe. I've grown up in England for most of my life, but I wanted to educate, motivate, titillate, all the lates
All the
to
lakes.
to the people in the Caribbean. And you need to, although I was based in Guyana for 3 years, COVID took away two of those. But I was still doing the motivation and talking on TV and radio and stuff like that. And then you
Hmm.
remember I did my whole show for like 18 months while we were locked in our houses for
Yes.
COVID. But one of the things that I want to do is do the second part of my tour. I called the tour "Be Awesome." In England, it was called "Awesome You," and the
Uh-huh.
Caribbean tour is called "Be Awesome." And so you
Nice.
could get to many places in the Caribbean from Barbados. But if I was stuck in Guyana, it's always two planes. I was like, oh no,
Yes. Yes. Oh, they got
it's
three now. We got Jet Blues going there. There's a few.
yeah, they
It's
came
just,
after I
and you know
left.
what? We're gonna have to talk about Guyana on a whole other day, because yeah, Guyana is definitely moving along. They're moving along. It's still slow, but they're still moving in the right direction. The only
Yeah.
way is up. You can't go any, and you can't go down from here. But
Yeah.
yes, so Barbados is beautiful. I every time I've been to Barbados, I've experienced, nothing but warmth from the people, and I'm sure you had a great welcome as well. And I know you've got some plans for right there in Barbados and some things that
Yes.
you're working on. So
Yes.
I wanted to circle back again to some of the people that you have interviewed in your life. Very interesting people. If you can tell us just a little snippet about your experience and some of the Black greats that you have interviewed, and what was your experience doing that?
Okay, if I choose maybe two or three, there's
Yeah.
Dr. Maya Angelou, who I interviewed her first of all on, just on the telephone, and then they were sending some people to meet her, and I walked in to the, when let me tell you, when I rang her to interview her, I expected somebody to answer the phone, says, I'll get her, blah, blah, blah. And I said, can I speak to Dr. Maya Angelou? And she says, Maya speaking, how you doing? And it was just like talking to your auntie or your grandma. She was
Oh, wow.
nice kind of person, but very, very stern. Don't mess around. Don't be speaking about things that she doesn't want to talk about. She'll tell you.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then there was,
you're in a very unique club, being, having interviewed Dr. Maya Angelou, because not a lot of people did. So you are in a very unique club. So wow, that was amazing.
that was a good
Congratulations on that.
one. And
Yes.
then my second person is Sir Nelson Mandela, um, and that
Wow.
was I met him in London first when I was doing a little bit of makeup, and they asked me, "Could you be behind the scenes?" Because he was going to be interviewed, and they brought me in, and I said, "Can I make you up?" And his people behind him were fussing, and and then he looked at me and he says, "Do you think I need it?" And you know how he does. And I
Oh,
said, "No, no, you don't really, but let's pretend." just do a little bit of powder and pretend. And so he let me make him up. And as he walked through the door, he remembered that he didn't say bye, and he sort of like moved somebody aside, and then he turned around and he said, he gave me that wink, and he said, thank you. So that was a good one.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
was
then
a great
later
one.
on, when I became magazine editor, they flew us to Johannesburg, and I met him there. In fact, I've met him
Nice.
2 times, so that was a good one. And
Yeah.
then, of course, there's Luther Vandross, which is one of my favorite stories. Luther
Oh,
Vandross, I know they're all dead, but they were older than me, so of course they will be dead. Luther Vandross, they called me because he was having a hissy fit because somebody made him up and made him look grey, as we were talking about
uh-oh.
before. And he didn't like it, and he was on the phone, and it was kicking up. And basically, they called me, so got in a cab, went down there, and they only gave me half an hour to get him ready. And I walked in, and I couldn't afford. I remember I was a mother of two there, and I wasn't buying all those cleansing wipes that makeup artists use. I bought baby wipes on the way, and I went in there, and I sort of he's chatting away, and he wouldn't stop, and I went, and I just took baby wipes and wiped his face, and I could see him looking at me like, "What the hell?" Anyway, so I said, "Listen, I've only got 20 minutes, and I've got to do it," and I just totally ignore him having a hissy fit, and I did the makeup on him. I remember doing 3 stripes on his face, and he's looking at me like, "Does she know what she's doing?" The last one was, not good, and
Wow,
basically,
Luther.
I got it, and he was blah blah blah, and we did it, and we did it in the 20 minutes. And he got up and he looked in the mirror, and then he looked at me, he says, "Thank you, doll, thank you, doll." And then he
I
said
can
there
just
was I
imagine him
coming to
saying that.
the filming thing that he was doing,
Hmm.
and I said no, and he just gave me a kiss right there. He says,
Oh
"Thank you, doll."
man,
So
the great
that's
Luther
just one.
Vandross.
That's just 3 out of maybe about
Many.
20, or many, 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 many.
I know you have a long portfolio. I'm hoping you'll write another book. I'm hoping that you'll write a book with, all of these great stories, and just everything. Is that something that you have in the works?
Yeah, I do. You know what the funny thing is? I can write for everybody else, and I can do this stuff. When it comes to me, I'm a bit lapsadaisical. So now everybody's moaning, and my son says, "Remember about the grandchildren, and for them to have something to look back at." And so yeah,
Yes.
I have to do it because there's been
Yes.
a lot of things like speaking at the United Nations. That was something else. My God, and
Yeah.
just Houses of Lords, House of Commons, European Union. Some of the places that I've spoken at is just great memories, fantastic memories.
Yeah, I hear you when it comes to the whole writing, because I am an author as well. I have been part of 2 anthologies, both of which, kind of had my story one way or the other. My third book, that I'm currently working on now, is all about me and my story and different things that have happened. Because yes, I am in my 50s. I know, I don't look it. However, I have so many more plans on doing so much more. So I want to start, that book now up until the age of 50. And then I want to do another one, maybe 50 to 55, because I know in
Yeah.
this next few years, there's going to be so much more, especially the way the world has opened up. I have another show that airs on Fridays called The Promo Show. I've been doing that show for a year and a half, and I don't even know where the year and a half went. So
Strong,
the amount of
strong.
interviews that I've had and different people I've had on the show and so forth, time is really moving fast. So I want to be
Yeah.
able to write the different experiences, throughout this period. So yeah, I hear you, and I said the same thing. My dad, who passed away in 2020, um, I wish that there was a book about him that I could pick up and read and just kind of get lost in the stories and
Yeah.
just smile and cry and have a drink and all these things as I'm reading the book. Like an
And
audiobook.
celebrate him
Yeah,
because
can
he
you
was
imagine
what.
what an audiobook would do to hear your
Yes.
your loved one who has moved on, who have passed on, just to hear them narrate their story. That is amazing. I would love to leave that for my kids, my grandkids.
Well, one of the things that I think, and I keep saying to people when I've met a few people along the way, and I keep saying this to them, because what's the point of us being here with this vast technology and we don't use it? And I say to people, have either video or use your phone and record, and just have clips of some of the things they say, so that the grandchildren can even hear a voice. Grandchildren hear some of the things that they say and how they say it, because we're doing our accent, but it's not as strong as theirs was when they go girl, and you just knew you had to fix up, or whatever it was.
It's funny you should say that. It's funny you should say that, because the other day I was going through my videos. I need to clear out my phone. I have probably about 30,000 media, whether it's videos or pictures or whatever, on my phone. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to be buying a hard drive, and I'm taking everything off. I'm going to start with a clean, fresh slate. But I was going through the videos, and I came across some videos of my son. Now, anyone who knows, anyone who's had kids, that at some point, especially the boys, at some point, and you've had boys, Sherry, at some point, their voice changes. And it's like overnight, you wake up and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, who is that in this house? So I was watching some videos of him when he was, had that little baby voice, and I've got them through the years. And I tell you, I am going to keep those videos forever. Those are like the sweetest little videos. And then, of course, now his voice has changed. I would never hear that voice again, ever. You know what I mean? So I know what you mean when people, we should definitely use technology and do lots of recordings. So we're halfway through the show. I just want to stop very quickly so I can just thank my sponsors. I've got to thank my sponsors. So I don't know, have you been to Atlanta Carnival, Sherry? You have to come to Atlanta Carnival.
I've never been to Atlanta Carnival, but I want to do it. It can't obviously be the Caribbean Carnival, can it?
No. But you know what? The carnival is getting bigger and bigger just around the world, and I'm loving it. Right now, we've got Trinidad Carnival. It's about to wrap. They had Monday, of course, Sunday and Monday, but it starts 3 weeks prior to that. You've got all the build-up, all the parties, all the concerts, and then bam, the last 2 days is the parade, the Juve and the parade. So Atlanta is very much the same. As soon as May hits, it's event after event after event, leading up to that last weekend. In the UK, it's the bank holiday weekend in May, the last Monday. But the carnival is on the Saturday. Now Atlanta has gone through going from one carnival to two carnivals but now we're back to one. Now we're back to one. So this year we are back to one. So it's going to be one amazing carnival. We've got a lot of bands. I'm probably going to do a show about carnival when I get some of the band leaders on. But today I just want to talk about one event called We're White. We're White, I worked with them last year. I'm working with them again this year to promote this particular event. And right now they've got early bird tickets, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you go on to the QR code is on the screen right now. Make sure you click onto that and go support We're White. You will not be disappointed. Not only do they have the amazing, and I love this guy. He has the song, the Road March from last year, Michael Teja, and his bands. We've got international DJs. We've got Nadia Bassin, and of course we've got Patrice Roberts. So Patrice has been doing the circuit. She had a really bad December with the loss of Ricardo Drew. But now I think she has come full circle. She's got great music out. She's got new music coming out. And guys, you need to stay tuned to my YouTube page. And I say that because I am going to be getting an interview with these artists. So they are going to be live and direct with your girl. So make sure you come back. Lunch date with Cazzy. Lunch date with Cazzy. Let's do lunch. It's every Tuesday at 11 o'clock EST, 4 p.m. GMT. So Sherry, lunch date. Let's talk about lunch. And I know, when I start talking about food, right now my house is smelling great because I was in the middle of cooking. next time, I think I may actually bring my food to the stage so you can see what I'm
Yeah.
eating. People can see what I'm eating. I might even take my show into my kitchen and do something live there and then as I'm talking to my
I
guests
think
and
that's a good
cooking.
idea.
Yes, yes, we're going to be doing a lot of that. But right now, actually, let me bring this, let me show you what I've got here. And you will probably be able to relate to this. I've got some cane juice. I went to the farmer's market the other day and they were literally just juicing the cane. So this is some
Yeah.
cane juice. It's so sweet. I forgot how sweet cane was. But this is some cane juice and I've got my sea moss gel. Do you get a lot
Yeah.
of sea moss
Yeah,
in Barbados?
we get it, and quite. Oh, I have a big jar of it, and I add a teaspoon of it to everything. Well, every juice that I have,
Yes,
and the
I
cane
love
juice
that.
is great because it's natural sugar. It's not the other sugar. You know,
Yes, it's not the killing
regular
sugar.
ones,
I'm
yeah.
glad you said that because, yes, I am in my 50s. I've actually cut down on a lot of food that I used to eat, that I used to love. And,
Hmm.
and if I was in a desperate place, I would probably still eat the food. Like if I'm somewhere stranded and that's all they have, yes, I will eat it. I'm not going to say no.
Yeah,
However, I'm
yeah,
enjoying my time not eating certain foods. And it's only because I am looking at all the things that you mentioned in, beauty wise and health wise. I'm looking at my skin, my hair, my eyes. I'm wearing glasses right now. When did you know me to ever wear glasses? I mean,
I know. I started,
never.
but once you're in front of computers and stuff, you find after a while
Yes.
that you need it. I mean, I live with mine now, and I don't apologize for it. I have different colors. I've got different colors.
Wow. Yes. Well, I was going to say, these are actually just readers. They're not like prescription or anything. I just buy them, online or wherever. But I've got
Yeah,
about 5 or 6 of them. I got one in the kitchen, one in my room, one over
everywhere.
here,
Yeah, see, I've
because you just
put
never
on
know when
my.
you'll need it.
I have on my orange ones today. I just had on the purple ones. I have them in different colors. I don't care. I wear them all the time. They're in every handbag I think that I can find.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
what it
Oh my
is.
gosh. I know. So glasses. We're talking about glasses, ladies and gentlemen. So moving on, Sherry. So I know that you have an event coming up. You have
Yeah.
an event coming up in Barbados.
Mhm.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about what it is that you're doing in Barbados at this event?
Yeah. I want to tell you because it's every year, apart from obviously in COVID, but even in COVID, I did it online. I
Mm-hmm.
believe in celebrating International Women's Day
Okay.
because it's a great how can I say, it's a great way of reminding women that we should be holding each other's hands. Um, and I'm saying should, the word should, because
Mm-hmm.
many people talk about, oh, well, we are one and we should celebrate women. And, we're all part of these women groups. But do you actually send the elevator back down for your sister?
Mm. I
And my
love the way
whole
you
thing,
put that.
I think that there are lots of people who just don't, and they take, but they don't give.
Mm-hmm.
And so my
Yeah.
whole thing is giving back. And I can only give back by giving my time. And my time is to maybe people that are not feeling so good, or they feel that they can't achieve doing what I do. And I always say, all of us can do what I do. You
You
might
can
not do
do,
it exactly
anyone can do
how,
anything. Yes. If
yeah,
they put their minds to it,
yeah.
you can do anything. You can make it
So,
happen. Yeah.
you know, I was a radio presenter, but I couldn't man the decks. I can't cope with that. And but I got a girl who wanted to be in the show, and she was really good. Cass Denton is her name, and she basically used to man the decks, and I would be on the side. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
We still got the show. Editor in chief. I had little mentees that came and worked there, and they learned, and then we give them a byline. And many of the big magazines do not give their staff or anybody that works with them a byline. If
Mm-hmm.
you have a look, it's the main journalist, no byline, but I believe in bylines.
Gotcha.
Anywhere that I can help to motivate because one of my things is every woman and every young girl should have a mentor. And I know that people always say, well, what happened to the men? But I'm focusing on them because they are the ones that basically bring up, there are more of them in the houses bringing up their children, bringing up
Mm-hmm.
single parents. Let's get real. There's loads of single parents, and they are the ones that should really need the mentoring, need the motivation to understand that they can. So this
Yes.
year, while I'm in Barbados, I'm having one at the Marriott courtyard at the Marriott in Bridgetown, and
Mm-hmm.
I've invited two other ladies, Linda Danzy Black and Alison Brown Eris, to join me because they have a different take on things. And Lindell is basically, she started, or she's one of the co-founders of Women Chambers of Commerce Guyana,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that's the only women chamber of commerce in the world.
Yeah.
So they had the tenacity to say, I want to do one, and they weren't afraid. So it's all women, and I was one of the directors, the first directors of Women Chambers of Commerce Guyana, and then you've got
Nice.
the other lady who is, oh, she works with so many people and she does so much and really well known
So
in
these
Barbados.
these ladies, are they based in Barbados, or are you going to be bringing them virtually? Are they based in
Lindell
Barbados?
will No, Linda will fly in, and Alison is here in Barbados. So I've
Okay.
chosen those two. Obviously, I'll be the headliner act, and together we'll fill a room up to 160 to 100 people. Give them some
Wow.
drink, rum punch, which is offered by Mount Gay rum, and then I'll give them some fish cakes and
Oh,
something,
yes.
some.
Something. Well, if anyone's coming to events, you got to feed them. You got to give them, and they're not just coming for the food, but while they're there, of course, they need some kind of nutrition, keep their attention. And the
Yeah.
rum punch, you may want to serve that afterwards, because I know Mount Gay,
But
Mount Gay.
in these motivational sessions, I try to get people to think about their positive things. Like in the last one I
Mhm.
did, I was like, if you could give yourself a name, how would you describe yourself? So mine is
Right.
awesome. I say I'm awesome. My grandmother used to say I was awesome, or special was her word. So what's your word? And somebody else would say fearless. Somebody else would
Hmm.
say reliable. Whatever it is, I'm trying to get people to have their affirmations about themselves. Quite often people say, what's your name? And you can hear people speaking down here, especially in the Caribbean. Yeah, my name is, and I'm like, hello, hello. People are not supposed to ask you twice. Own your
Yeah.
own your name. So my name is Sharon Dixon. Hi, how are you? What's your name? That
Yeah.
should be
Yeah.
easy. It should roll off the tongue. And I try to just tell people about owning understanding their worth, understanding
Oh
their
my
own
gosh,
worth.
that is so important. Knowing who you are, we've all gone through this. We've all gone through it where we've kind of given other people, because of course it's always to do with people, whether it's
Yes.
your kids, whether it's your parents, whether it's your friends, your girlfriends, partners, whatever. You're constantly doubting yourself. You're giving so much of yourself with not much in return. So you're not knowing your worth. It
Yeah.
takes people a long time. It took me a long time to get to that stage,
Yeah.
and something will wake up inside of you and you'll decide that, you know what, not anymore. Enough is enough. This is what I'm
Enough
going
is
to start
enough.
taking control of what's happening here.
Well, you
Some
have to
of us,
understand you, right, Caroline? If you
uh-huh.
don't understand you, and it's good to acknowledge, well, this is my fault. This is be accountable for the things that you've
Yes,
done wrong. And then when you've
yes,
done that, then you can forgive yourself for not knowing any better. Because if you didn't, if you knew, you wouldn't have made the mistakes in the first place. But
Right.
now
And
that
I
you
always
know,
say you can't beat yourself up. There's so many, oh my gosh, I can't even begin to tell you the amount of regrets that I've had. But what am I going to do? I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm not going to slip my wrist. I'm not going to do anything crazy with these regrets. What I'm going to do, I'm going to learn from them.
yes,
I'm going to take the regrets, the mistakes, and all of the heartache, if you like, and turn it into something. If I can help
yes,
one person, I've done a great job. If I
yeah,
can, if I can convince someone to do something, I've done a great job. If
yes,
I can show somebody a different way, I think I've done a great job. There's all these different things, and I know that with the amount of speaking engagements that you've had, I know that you've definitely, resonated with some people. There's definitely people who can relate to some of the things that you've said, that you've done, even just where you're living right now. You came out of the
yeah.
UK, you decided that, you know what, I don't want to, I'm going to move and go somewhere that I want to be, somewhere warm. I know you love the warmth because you always used to complain about the cold. Those times of the year. So you're exactly where you want to be.
Yeah.
And you made that decision to change. And then when you get to the places, like when you were in Guyana, now that you're in Barbados, you have made something of the time that you were there. You were influential in Guyana. I'm sure if I go to Guyana now and say your name, people will know who you are, and
Yeah.
what you did. And now here you're doing the same in Barbados, So
Yeah.
have they embraced you? How's it been?
Barbados is a little different to Guyana. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's I think it's very cliquey, but that's okay because I'll find a way. Remember my words, I can and I will, and
Yes,
so
and you're awesome.
thank you, and I'm awesome. So it's you have to find your way in. You have to understand their ways. They're really nice people, but as you're trying to get through the up the ladder, you almost can bump into somebody who's saying, "Well, we don't know who she is where she come from," that kind of thing. So it doesn't matter that you would have spoken at the House of Lords, Commons, and United Nations. You still
Yeah.
have to prove it to these people. I must feel like I'm going back to England in the 1960s sometimes. But
But that
I
is that is just, I won't say that is just Caribbean people, because it really isn't. That is just people in general. It's like you
general,
can talk about something and you have to prove it. It's like, think of there's a show called Shark Tank. I think there was an equivalent in the UK and I can't remember the name off the
yes,
top of
there
my
is,
head.
yeah, yeah,
But Shark Tank, when you go in to see those sharks, you have to make sure you tell them all about this wonderful thing that you're doing, whether it's the business, a service, a product, or whatever it is. You're telling and you're selling and selling and selling. And then what do they say? Show me the numbers. Prove to me
so
that you've
many
done this.
numbers, yeah, yeah.
How is it going to benefit me? Blah, blah. You have to go to the other side. And I think,
What's your
you know,
return? Yeah, all
right,
those
exactly.
things.
What is the return on investment? So I think in your case, the event that you're having, once you
Yes,
have that event and they see how awesome you are indeed and what you can bring to the table, and the publicity and just everything surrounding it, and the speakers that you're bringing in, just the power in that
yeah,
room, I think things will change for you for sure
yeah. I
in
think so.
Barbados. Yeah, I
I
think,
think
but you got to
so.
prove yourself, according to them. They don't want to
Well,
read up
people,
about all the stuff that you have done. They won't go into your website, but
yeah,
you just get
yeah.
past that first one and you will be
They'll
good to
do the
go.
work. They will do the work. So, at the moment, I
Right.
have to do the work. So it's okay. It's okay. And, people say, well, Sherry, you've got to a big age. They like to use that word, big age. Um,
Mm-hmm. You're
yeah, I
big.
have. And should you stop? Why are you not sitting down and just drinking some Morby and eating the mango and just relaxing? Because I can't. I
Yeah.
think that if I sit around and just watch the looking for which way the wind is coming, I would probably die early. I have to keep on moving and
Yeah.
educating and motivating. And when I can't do that physically, my book will be there, and hopefully I will get a few more interviews in.
Yeah.
and then they can listen. There's always a way, always a way.
Yes, yes, no doubt, no doubt. And I know that you'll be successful, and trust me, when I come to Barbados, I hope you're still there in Barbados when I come to Barbados, because
I
I definitely
know.
want to, I
It's
would
just
love
about
to be
finding
on your,
islands.
yeah, I'm gonna come and be on your panel one day. You watch,
Oh
that's
yeah.
gonna be my my goal when I'm in that area. We'll put some kind of show together and just
You
bring
know,
everything to the table. But
you know.
we've got to do a part two, Sherry. So when after your event, let's try and get together again, and maybe we do a part two so we can hear about the event. And there's so
Yeah.
much more I want to talk to you. I want to kind of just kick it with you, about food, about beauty, about different tips, and and hear a lot more about what you have to say.
And
So I definitely want to do that
motivation.
with you. Yeah,
Motivation,
motivation.
Caroline.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
thank
gonna we're
you.
gonna definitely do a part two. So I wanted to, I got to do a couple of things. I'm having, I do another show. There's another show called the Promo Show, which I do. I've moved from Wednesdays to Fridays. So my show, the Promo Show, I do production, promotions and marketing for small businesses. And this show kind of came out of COVID as well, where
Right.
we were trying to promote an event and there wasn't a lot of uptake and we lost some of our vendors and I had to get more vendors. So this was created on the back end of that. And it's been going for a year and a half. So
Wow.
this coming Friday, I have Austin Thompson. Now, Sherry, this is somebody I would like for you to meet if you're ever in the Atlanta area. He is Guyanese, but he's also the councilman for one of our counties here in Georgia.
Oh
So this is
wow.
yes, this is Austin Thompson. So I'm interviewing him on Friday. He has the second annual African Caribbean Community Summit that happens every year. Last year it was great. Last year was the first year. This year they have a lot more interviews happening. There's a lot, that they will talk to us about, and maybe this is something that you can probably get involved with, Sherry.
Yeah.
The way this particular summit is bringing the African community and the Caribbean community together under one roof. So that Africans, just Afro beats, just anything to do with the African continent is
African.
blowing
Yeah.
up everywhere. So it makes sense to bring these two communities together rather than try to do it individually by ourselves. So this summit is bringing those businesses together, bringing everyone from the field. There's a panel. Last year they had a panel, so I'm sure this year will be the same. And I met some great people from this summit, lots of networking. It's just great. So I'm very happy to have Austin Thompson this Friday on the show, guys. So make sure you tune into the promo show, airing on Bacchanal TV, airing on Caribbean Life TV, as well as Caribbean Life Radio on our app, and it will be on my Facebook page. So that's what's happening on Friday. And of course, not to.
What time?
Oh, the time is at, let me bring it back to the stage. So it's at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. this Friday,
Okay.
and it's a live show. So that is what's happening. And of course, we've got Wear White happening on Sunday, May the 26th. Early bird tickets, and I'm urging people to get early bird tickets at $45 because at the gate, these tickets will probably be about 70, maybe about 60 or $70 at the gate. So get your early bird tickets, $45. Nadia Batson, stay here, stay tuned for an interview with some of the artists who will be at the event. So either Nadia Batson, Patrice Roberts, Michael Taja, right here on the Lunch Date Show or on the Promo Show. I will keep you updated. So Sherry, what else have you got going on? Where can everyone find you? Where can we find you? Where can we follow you? And we didn't talk about Women on the Crossroads. Tell me a little bit. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. So tell me a little bit about Women on the Crossroads and that amazing group, because I'm part of it. So, and I love everything that is in, all of the information and everything you share. I love it. So tell
Including
everyone
the
about Women on
gossip,
the
right?
everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Okay.
and the comments.
Women on the Crossroads. I started it years ago when I was editor in chief of She Caribbean in St. Lucia. And basically, I found that women wanted to talk and discuss, and they wanted to tell people, everybody had an opinion, and opinions mattered. And I thought we need a place where we can discuss these things and share things, what's going on, what's happening, relationships. Sometimes women need help with relationships. So if you put up a
We
relationship
always need help with relationships. Like that is just a given thing.
Crossroads. So basically, we put up things and people discuss them or they learn, and that's what Women on the Crossroads. Yeah, it's got 4,000 people now in there, and it's
Nice.
a wonderful group, and I'm glad that I started that. So yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
that's definitely something I'm really proud of.
And here's
I
what?
can't.
That could be the name of your new book or your next book, Women on the Crossroads. You got a
Women on the
title right
Crossroads.
there.
But that might be the second book, because then I can interview women who were on the crossroads or at the crossroads, and how did they get through it. So, there's so many books
Yes.
in Sherry and Dixon.
There's so much. There's so much in the works. Yeah. So Women on the Crossroads, you can find Women on the Crossroads on Facebook. Also, tell us
And
about the websites and your social media, so where everyone can find
okay,
you.
so my social media, I'm on Instagram, is all one word, Sherry Ann Dixon, and without an E, and Sherry with a Y. I'm on Facebook with the same name, but on Facebook it's Dr. Sherry Ann Dixon. Doctor and Sherry is one word, and then Ann Dixon, Dixon. And my website is all the W's, sherryandixon.com. And you can find everything there.
SherryAndDixon.com.
Yeah. You can find
Yeah.
all the links to everything on there. LinkedIn, it's all the same name, because, as I said before, my name is my brand.
Yes, yes, that's right. Your name is your brand. So I
Yeah.
noticed that with your website, your email is the same. It's got your name in there, and also Women on the
Frozen
Crossroads.
Caroline.
Women on the Crossroads have womenonthecrossroads.net, I believe it is. But I will also make sure I post the information as well about Sherry. So
Yes,
I
I'm
just want
here.
to yeah, I'm back. I'm back. That's why I'm moving. I'm moving so you can see that I'm moving. I'm not frozen. That was part of my tactics to be rocking. You're probably thinking, why is she rocking? Because she's
Yeah,
confused.
yeah, yeah.
But no, I'm rocking because I want to make sure that if I am frozen, she would let me know. So guys, if you're just joining us, and I don't know why, where have you been? We have just spent the last hour with the wonderful Dr. Sherry Ann Dixon, who is currently in Barbados. She is in Barbados. Yes, she is British, like myself, hence her accent. She's also Guyanese roots, so like myself. And what I like about Sherry is that you're evolving all the time, a little bit like what I'm doing. So I can definitely relate to what you're doing. I've lived in 3 countries myself, so having that, just being able to revolve, pivot when you need to,
Yes.
switch. You're a master of so many different things. Like you can go back to, not that you would, but you came from
Yeah.
the corporate world. You became your own boss, so to speak, boss
Yeah.
lady. And
Boss lady.
some of the things that you've done, or the awards that you have, or the accolades, and people you've interviewed. I want to be able to interview. Obviously, the greats that you have interviewed are no longer with us, but in my world, being a Caribbean, a carnivalist, I consider Patrice Roberts a great for me, and I consider
Yeah.
Nadia Bassin. I would love to interview them all, and you are going to get the chance. Viewers, you're going to get the chance to see and hear an interview. I'm hoping to get them some point before May, before they come to Atlanta, because I know they'll be busy. But we'll get them. We'll get them on the show. So this was episode 2 of the Lunch Date with Cazzy. So I just want to thank you, Sherry. I want to thank you so much for being my guest. We definitely have to get you back on. We're going to have to do a part
You're
2
welcome.
later
You're
on down the
welcome.
line. But
Yes, you're
but we
welcome.
will definitely do that. So guys, thank you if you were tuned in. Thank you so much for joining me. Catch me this Friday from 5 to 7 on the promo show with Cazzy B and my co-host, which is DJ DX. I don't know if you've seen this, my new co-host, Sherry, but he's a kid from Linden. That's what he calls himself, the kid from Linden. He is from Linden. And,
Okay.
So we have a lot of fun on the show. And so I will be there on Friday, and my guest will be none other than the phenomenal Austin E. Thompson. He will be my guest, telling us all about the second annual African Caribbean Community Summit, which is happening right here in Georgia, right here in Atlanta. I believe it's on the 24th of February. So great event coming up. So guys, thank you very much for joining me. It is 12 o'clock. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I want to be respectful of your time, Sherry. Thank you for your time. And over and out. It was a great show. I'm excited to continue this show every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. I will kind of go live about 10, 15 minutes before, so you can grab a drink. You can, get yourself some lunch. I will eventually bring my lunch to the show. I will eventually take you to my kitchen and make something there and then. Right now, today, all I have is my cane juice, which has some sea moss gel. So I do this quite a lot, but the sea moss gel I actually have in my freezer. So I will definitely be showing you what I did and how I did it and all of that good stuff. So I'm excited about this show. As I said, it is every Friday. Let's do lunch. If you want to be a guest on the show, just very quickly before I leave, if you want to be a guest on the show, send me a DM, send me a message through my YouTube, send me a message through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I am on social media. So please, 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 or you can contact my assistant. Number is 202-550-2923. So contact my assistant and we will get you on the show. So this is the number, 202-550-2923. Okay? Well, thank you guys. Thank you. I am going to love you and leave you right now. And it's time for me to do something else. Actually, time for me to eat my lunch. So, bye-bye.